All right, good morning, because it's not quite afternoon, Jesus Alvarez. It's 11:27. I'm here with my fourth period. We are going to do today's review. There's only 12 questions. What you see here is what you're going to see on tomorrow's quiz. So let's start with number 1. It says, classify the relationship between 4 and 6 as either alternate interior, alternate exterior, or corresponding. So step 1, I would suggest that you circle 4 and 6 so you know which two you're talking about. 4 is here, 6 is here, okay? So, again, I told you guys that when we were doing these, okay, you eliminate the ones that cannot be true. They are both on the inside. That means interior. They're not on the outside, so there's no way it can be exterior. So do yourself a favor and go ahead and cross out the one that says alternate exterior. So we are left with alternate interior and corresponding. Corresponding means that if you were to cut it in half and slide one of the images on top of the other, corresponding means that they would match up. 4 and 6 do not match up. It's not corresponding. The only thing you have left is alternate interior. So that's your answer for number 1. Okay? For number 2, same exact deal. We're looking at 3 and 7. 3 and 7. One of them is on the inside, one of them is on the outside. They can't be interior. They cannot be exterior. So look, the only thing I have left is corresponding, because if I were to cut it and then shift it, they would match. So for number 2, corresponding. All right, so for number 3, it says 2 parallel streets are intersected by another street. Just remember that is called a transversal. They're telling you that the measure of 2 is... All right, sorry about that, guys. The bell rang, so it kind of distracted me. So they're telling us that the measure of 2 is 127 degrees. So where angle 2 is, I'm going to put 127. And then they want us to find the measurement of angle 8 and 7. So 8 is here, 7 is right next to it. You'll notice it's all the way on the other side. A lot of different ways of doing this, completely up to you. I'm going to show you the long way and the short way. The long way is you go angle 2 is 127, angle 4 is also 127 because these are called vertical angles, okay? And then to find 1 and 3, you just simply do 180 minus 127. And that there gives you, this is regrouping 10, 7, 3, 7, 2, 5. This gives you a 53. This gives you a 53. Okay? And then from here, okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4 correspond with 5, 6, 7, and 8. So all you need to do is you match everything up. So that means number 6 is 127. Number 7 is 127. Number 5 is 53. And number 8 is also 53. Okay? So from here, the only thing we want to look for is 8 and 7. 8 we said was 53. 7 we said was 127. That is technically the long way. The short way would have been, okay, the short way would have been 127 for angle 2. That means number 6, corresponding, is also 127. It technically is not that much longer, but a little longer. That would have left you with 53, 127. Saved you a little bit of time, but nothing too crazy. Okay? So that's how you do number 3. Number 4, kind of the same deal. They're telling us that here, line A is parallel to line B. Measurement of angle 2 is 135, so we go to measurement 2. This is 135 degrees here. And they want us to find the measure of angle 9. 9 is over here on this side. Okay? So a lot of different ways of doing this. Again, it's completely up to you how you want to do it. So one way of doing it would be to subtract 180 from 135. When you do that, this gives you 45, which means that on this side, it's 45 degrees. The one directly across from it, angle 1, is also 45 because those are called vertical angles, right? You'll notice that angle 10 is already 90 degrees. How do I know that? Because it has the little box, and in geometry, any box means that it's going to be 90 degrees. So once again, if I look on the other side, right, the other side has to equal 180 degrees. So if we add 90 plus 45, you get 135. And then we need angle 9 to add up to 180. And that, again, will also give you 45 degrees. So this one, angle 9, is 45 degrees. All right, so for question number 5, we are given a triangle, and they want us to find the value of x in the triangle. The one thing you need to know for triangles is that in the interior angles will always add up to 180 degrees. This might be one of the easier ones on tomorrow's quiz. You take the two angles that they have given you so far, so in this case 75 plus 60, you get 135, and then all you need to do is ask yourself, oh, if the last angle has to add up to 180, then all I need to do is just subtract 180 minus 135 to get you the last angle, and you'll notice here that you get 45 degrees. So the value of x is 45 degrees. Okay. Number 6, this might be a tough one for some of you. Again, last week we told you guys that we were going to give you a ratio. The ratio is 2 to 4 to 6. So essentially, you have a triangle. One of the angles is 2x, the other one is 4x, the other one is 6x. All triangles add up to 180, so for this one you just need to do 2x plus 4x plus 6x is equal to 180. You add all your x's together, so 2x plus 4x plus 6x gives you a total of 12 x's. And you know that they have to equal 180 degrees, so divide by 12, divide by 12. And 180 divided by 12 gives you 15. Now, if the question was, what is the value of x, you would be done. But you are not done. They want to know, well, what is the measurement for angle L, angle M, and angle N? So for L, we need to do 2 times x. Well, we just found out that x is 15, so 2 times 15 gives you 30 degrees. That's your answer for the first one. For angle M, you need to do 4 times x, also known as 4 times 15. This would give you 60 degrees. And then for N, and all I'm doing is I'm just looking at the ratios over here, guys. So the 2, the 4, the 6. For the N, it's just 6 times x, which is 6 times 15. And that gives you 90 degrees. The only way you're going to know that you did this correctly is if you add them all up and they give you 180 degrees. Then that means that you've done it correctly. In this case, we have. So all of these are my answers. All right, so for number 7, it says, in the kite shown, the measurement of angle 2 is 75. And the measure of angle 3 is 30. So measurement of angle 2, 75. I'm going to put a 75 right here. And then for angle 3, it is 30. 2 ways of doing this one. Number 1, you can use the trick that we gave you guys in the notes last week. The exterior angle is just the sum of the 2 interior angles. So if you add up the 75 and the 30, you get 105. That one, the 2 interior angles will always be the same as the exterior angle, so that means that angle 1 will also be 105 degrees. Okay. Another way of doing it is you could have added 75 plus 30, figured out what this interior angle is, and then subtracted it from 180, but you would have gotten the same exact answer, which is just 105 degrees. For number 8, you have an exterior angle outside of a triangle, so first thing you're going to want to do is just kind of work from the outside in, okay? These two must equal to 180, So if you do 180 minus 123, this regroups to 57 degrees. So the y is your 57 degrees. All triangles add up to 180 degrees, so to find x, you simply just do 57 plus 92. That gives you, 149. And then all you do is you take 180 minus 149. Once again, you regroup. You guys will be able to use calculators, lucky you. And then you get 31 degrees for this angle here. For number 9, Mr. Parsons wants to build a new banister for the staircase shown. If the rise of the stairs is 15 and the run is 12, what will be the length of the banister? So they want to know what this piece is going to be. As I have told my classes plenty of times, you circle the 90-degree angle, you put an arrow directly across, that one will always be your C. These other legs don't matter. You can call it A, B, B, A. It really doesn't matter. And then using Pythagorean's theorem, you just plug in what you know. The A is 12. The B is 5. The C is what we're trying to figure out. 12 times 12 makes 144. 5 times 5 makes 25. 144 plus 25 gives you 169. And then last but not least, you do the square root both sides, you get 13. So your answer in this case, the banister or the length of the banister would have to be 13 feet long. For number 10, same exact concept. You're given a triangle. So once again, circle the 90-degree angle. The one directly across will always be your C. The legs don't matter once again. Plug it into your formula. A squared plus B squared equals to C squared. The A in this case is 11. The B in this case is your cuatro. And then the C is what we're trying to find. So we'll just leave it as C, or you can put X. It really doesn't matter. 11 times 11, 121. 4 times 4 gives you 16. And then, of course, you add these two together. That gives you, 137. Now, 137 is not a perfect square, which means you are going to be getting a decimal. Hence the reason why it says round to the nearest 10th place. So you take 137 on your calculator. You figure out the square root, and in this case, your answer is 11.7, and we are talking about centimeters for question number 10. All right, for number 11, it says Marcus and Amari's houses are shown. They will each leave their house and want to meet at the park. How long of a walk is it for Amari to go to the park and round to the nearest 10th of a mile? So for this one, again, you have a right triangle. This is your 90-degree angle. Directly across from it will always be your C. This is your A. This is your B. Those can be used interchangeably. Off to the side, maybe on to the right, has a little bit more space. We're going to put A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. The A, we don't know. That's what we're looking for. The B is the 1.5, and the C is the 2. And of course, that all needs to be squared. So A squared stays as is. 1.5 times 1.5 gives you 2.25. And then 2 times 2 gives you 4. Subtract 2.25 from both sides. And that will leave you with, 1.75. Do the square root of 175. Let me turn my calculator into scientific mode. So 1.75 square root gives you a 1.3222. We're just going to keep it as 1.3, and then we're talking about miles for this question here. For the last one, it says the top part of a circus tent is in the shape of a cone. The tent has a radius of 50 feet. The distance from the top of the tent to the edge is 61. How tall is it? So we are trying to find how tall it is. Directly across will always be your C. We'll call this one A. We'll call this one B. The A and the B don't really matter, once again, as I've told my class plenty of times. So we're going to write A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. The A is what we're trying to find, so just rewrite that. The B is 50, so I need to do 50 times 50. And then the C is 61, so I need to do 60 squared. So over here on the left, this gives me, what is that, 2,500. And then 61 times 61 gives us 3,721. I subtract 2,500 from both sides. And I'm left with A squared, and what is that? A 1, a 2, and that's a 2 and a 1. So 1221. And then last but not least, I do the square root of 1221. And this leaves me with A equals 34.9. And in this case, we are talking about feet. So that's how tall the tent is. All right, guys, make sure you study for the quiz for tomorrow. Anything that you see here is fair game for tomorrow's quiz. Thank you, period number 4. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, all of my homies here in period 4, including Addie and everyone else. Shout out. Make sure you subscribe, like. If I get 300 comments, I'm going to become a multi-billionaire like Mr. Beast. Adios, people.